Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. And maybe you might be aware, like few weeks ago, there were some leaks happened in that most of the Indian data got leaked. And I was looking for the data, and there are so many people. Like I found so many friends' data which is already there, and luckily I found few members who is into Bitshala. Those data was also there in the a dark web. So privacy is really, really important. And I can give you some example as well. Like I don't know Rajendra personally. We met it in Goa, right, Rajendra? But even I found some data for uh, Setu as well. So for Rajendra, what I found out his father's name starts from J,
Okay. Yes.
and your Aadhaar numbers last digit are 7 and 7 9.
Yes. From where
So
it
I
has been. Uh,
so actually all the data is there. Like I also got shocked while I was going through this all document and these sites. Like I checked with few members, even few from Bitshala and all those, all the data are correct. Like even the Aadhaar details are there. So I think privacy is very, very important. Uh, Rajan, for that actually we have used some internal tools because uh, Cisco has some tools which we can run it. And but those data is available, those are in encrypted format, but through tools if we can decrypt it we can able to see all this information.
okay, okay.
So yeah, this is very scary and we should focus more on the privacy. I will try to add more and more session for that, but yeah, always make sure whatever you are doing, your data should be secure. Okay, so let's get started. First we will discuss about what has happened in the mining these days. So you might be aware, like in Bitcoin mining. Okay, so let's see this graph. And in this graph, you are seeing this decline, which we have discussed earlier in our previous session. Like there should be some decline. Anyone has any idea how much decline has happened or how much difficulty drop has happened in just Feb first week? Any rough or how much you are seeing it here? And
Around 17,
yeah,
18%.
yes, it's something around yes, 12 to 13%. And as he has mentioned, this is, I think, the largest negative adjustment since 2021 when China mining got banned. And that time, every miner needs to move all their setup from China. So this is the largest on that time. If you will ask me what are happening. So I'm not sure. Have you heard about Kango? So Kango is a company, is a public mining company. You will see so many data about this. So they have also, as we have discussed last time, we were only discussing internally, and I have mentioned like most of the public miners are little bit moving from Bitcoin mining to AI and GPU, these type of mining. But this week we also got this information from Kango. Like Kango has sold around I think 4,500 BTC, and they are moving those funds for AI compute infrastructure. Okay, so what is happening? Like, what are the big players? They are also that does not mean they are stop doing the mining. They are doing it, but they are also decentralizing their business. Like few investment is still there in the public mining and few investment they are moving towards fund AI, like uh, making infrastructure for AI, making those GPU clusters for AI infrastructure. So those things they are doing it and they are selling it. Okay. So this is a good news for us because decentralization will happen more, and if difficulty will drop, solo miner will get more probability to win a lottery, right? Now, another big news came that Tether has open source mining operating system. Anyone is aware of, or anyone have heard this news, or anyone is aware of what is this mining OS? Is it the one like BitTex OS, or is it the different one? Anyone has any idea? Okay,
Not sure.
so this mining OS is not the firmware which we are running on the hardware. If you remember, we also have this brain dashboard. I'm not sure if anyone have used it, but let me show you. So in mining dashboard, if I will say, or let us suppose you have one miner. What you can do is you can do all those operations. You can manually handle it because right now what you do, like if you have one miner and if it is connected to the LAN network, the same LAN network you have to connect, and then you will able to monitor your hardware. But what will happen that hardware is running 24 cross 7 and you are not there. So you cannot see whether your mining rigs are running or it is not running at the moment. So what are the things you will look for? You will look for any kind of manager which will help you to connect their miners either using cloud. So I can give you an example like maybe you might have a smart fan or smart bulb. You can able to control it from anywhere in the world, right? Like if you have an internet connection, you can able to do it. The similar way, if you want to make sure the mining rigs you are able to control, even if you are traveling outside India or anywhere, you need some kind of management software. And that is one software was there from Braiins dashboard. So if you will go there in the product series, okay, so I think they have renamed it. That is Braiins Manager, I believe. So if you go to Braiins Manager, what it does, you can self-host it and you can connect all those hardware. So I can take an example. Uh, let us suppose we have few Avalon. Want to make sure I can. Okay, yeah. So let us suppose we have few miners rigs. So this is few miner rigs here. Maybe I have few miner rigs in my hometown, let us suppose, and I have few miner rigs somewhere else, right? And it might have some small home miners, maybe two of them here, two of them here, and two of them here. If you want to control it, if you are in the same LAN, you can able to control it. If you are in this same LAN, you will able to control it. LAN, if I'm saying, means if I'm in the same Wi-Fi, I would able to access those things. If I'm into same Wi-Fi, I have this local IP, I would able to access those things. If I have, I will able to access those things, right? Another difference is like you will be having different IP for different miners. If you want to check, maybe you have to go to all other dashboard and manually check everything. For that, that time Braiins has started Braiins Manager, which is free at the moment, but not open source. Okay, so you can download the software from here and you can use it for free. They also provide the solutions for big public miners. For them, they have to pay for that. But for a normal home miners, you can generally use it for free. You just need to self-host it somewhere. And what you can do is, irrespective of the miner, whether the miner is from Avalon, miner is from Canon, miner is from another vendor, you can directly able to connect it with this Braiins manager, and you will able to see. Let me see if I can see the demo. I think, okay, this is a hash power. This we will also try to cover, but before, so this way it will show. So there is no demo here. Mara is also using this Braiins manager, and through that you can able to control all the workers which is available anywhere in the world. You can able to run it, turn it off, also able to make it more optimal. Like you want to run it in a high power, higher frequency mode, you can also do it. So all those configuration you will able to do it from here, and you will also see the temperature hiding and all those things from here. But the problem was this is closed source. So if you want to do any modification, you can't do that, because if this dashboard is like that, you have to use similar way. If something is like that, you have to use this way, because this is not open source thing fully. What Tether has done it. So Tether is not using any proprietary Braiins manager kind of thing. They have their Moria OS, they call it. That was a proprietary one. But now they have open source some part of it, that is mining OS. Okay, so what you can do is, this is not an open source firmware like Bitex. So many people are getting confused. That's why I'm covering it. This is a mining open source software. Through that you can able to control or manage all the Bitcoin mining hardware which is there. And this is also a good opportunity for you. Let us suppose uh, you want to start some business or want to do something. What you can do it, read through this documentation, because believe it or not, there are very few players who are making these kind of thing. Even if you want, because this is an open source, you can read it, make it for some of the uh, home miners or the small and medium level clients. For them, you can make a dashboard, and you can also make a business out of it. So they have open sourced the repository, so you can use the repository, and they have also have this documentation where you can read it. And another big advantage is, so let's talk back about the same smart fan which we have discussed. What generally happens, like if you are using this kind of a smart fan and all those things, that will go to the cloud server. And while you are using it from your mobile phone, or you are accessing it from mobile phone, you are accessing through cloud. So what happens in general cases, whenever you are having access, you have access of cloud. All the data goes to the cloud, and from cloud itself, you will able to access it. But with this case, with this mining OS, it is running P2P, peer to peer. So this is also a good thing, because here there is nothing centralized. So that means whatever data your miner rigs are sending, it is not storing anywhere in the cloud. It will directly go peer to peer with your Raspberry Pi or a small device in which you are putting your mining OS, and through that you will able to control all those miners. So these are the difference between Braiins Manager and the mining OS. Like Braiins Manager, you can do it freely for a limited purpose, but you can't change the or you can't modify the dashboard and all those things. Here you can do that, because you have everything. Even if you go to repository section, So all the repositories are there. So let us suppose you want to see how, uh, or let us suppose you want to make sure the mining OS should be very small and you have only Avalon miners. You can only use those APIs because you want to communicate with Avalon miners. Let us suppose you just want to communicate with Ant miner. You can use that repository and do that. If you want to communicate with Watts miner, you can use those APIs and make a small GUI for yourself as well. Similar like all other, even if you are using power meters, because if you are doing in a big you are putting a big miners, then you need external power meters like from ABB or Schneider, right? So then you have to use that. If you are using external sensor, for that also they have created a library. If you are using some miner tools, for that also they have created a library, and you have to merge based on your requirement, and you will able to do just like dashboard. So in maybe you can just need to change the app UI section, and your dashboard would be based on how you want your dashboard should be, not rely on others. Okay, so this is also a good thing. If you are doing it home mining seriously, and if you have a multiple miners, you should try either use, like if you are not familiar with all those GitHub repo and all those things, maybe first try Braiins Manager. You will get a better understanding. For this, you have to self-host it, because if you need the hosting, then they will charge you. So you have to use for free. If you're asking what is self-hosting, means you have one machine which will be running 24 cross 7, and in that you can run the Braiins Manager. Maybe a Raspberry Pi or some kind of a small computer in which you can run this software 24 cross 7. Similar, once you are able to do this way, even if you want more, or even if you want to create a service type of business, you can also use this open source repository and can start working on that as well. These are the few things which you can do. If you will ask for a simple one, how we can do that, take one miner, take AppUI, and only try to combine those few repository and see how things are happening. For that, they have written the whole documentation here. So if you will go the documentation section, you can see how you have to install the, and you can also see the architecture and all those things. They have mentioned it clearly, like how things would happen. So on front-end layer, whatever the repository I have shown you, that was the mining OS AppUI, that will run, and that will connect through this HTTP and WebSocket, and through that it will be doing the communications. This P2P which you are seeing, so if you might be aware of P2P, or anyone have heard about this hole punch? Anyone have heard about Keep.io?
Yes, I
These,
have heard.
yeah, so these are P2P. So all these companies which I have discussed or mentioned, Keep.io and Hole Punch. Hole Punch is the internal tech stack, P2P tech stack, and Keep and all those P2P which Tether is developing or Tether partners are developing, all are based on P2P Hole Punch stack. The thing, the mining OS, this is also similar to P2P, and they are also internal utilizing the whole punch stack. So yeah, anyone has any question, any doubt here, they can ask. Here, how things would work, like you will be having some workers, like let us suppose, even if you're working for any mining companies, for that also there would be one guy who will be handling this thing. So that controller guy will be always looking for this front end layer, making sure everything is working fine or not. And for that, they will do all this communication. So there is a demo as well. Even I can show you to you just, yeah. So if you will go here, demo.mos.github.io, you will able to see it. So this is the default dashboard which they have already open sourced it. You will be having the mining dashboard in which you can see how much total petahash per second you are getting in 5 minutes, in 30 minutes, or this you can modify it by doing a basic coding changes. Even if you don't know how to do the changes or coding, maybe use GitHub Copilot or any vibe coding. They will able to make this, because those GUI is a very easy, they can able to modify it. Okay, then here, if you will see, you will also able to see uh, the power consumption, and after main dashboard, you will also see this operation center. After that, you will see the alerts, reports, inventory, all those things you will able to see it from here. So we were discussing about this demo. Let me close it. Okay, so yes. So this is a demo of that open source software, which we have seen it right now. In that, you can see the main dashboard, and then you have this operation center in which you can also calculate the energy and all those things. So that dashboard itself will be doing everything for you. So you don't need to be uh, like how much is your energy consumption, how much efficiency you are getting, how much is the total consumption, all those things it will be calculating it for you. So you don't need to calculate it for each hardware or each device which you are using. So this is very, very handy if you have like, even if you have 4 or 5 small miners, I would recommend using that. If it is in different location, then definitely I'm gonna recommend it that, because if you are traveling frequently, what would happen? You will never know whether your miner is running or not. With this, you will always be able to see, and if there is some issue, because sometimes it happens. Like I have few new miners, and sometimes it stop working. So you have to again reboot it and make sure it is again working fine. Or if it is temperature is above threshold, I will just try to reboot it once to make sure things would get aligned. Through that, you will able to see all those alerts, how much report, how much, all those things you will able to do it. This is generally reports are for those who are not doing solo mining, who are doing uh, sharing, who are using sharing pools, right? So in that, here, just like alerts, you will come here, you will able to see, okay, what are the alerts you received it in few days, whether it was critical, whether it was high. Based on that, you will also able to resolve it from here. This type of tool is very, very required on these type of public mining rigs, because they, in mining farm, if any short circuit happens, and if you are not able to resolve that thing in a very short of time, it can create disaster. So that is the real difference in the hardware ecosystem and in the software ecosystem. I can give you some example. Let us suppose, even in hiring also, if you will see, like, okay, if I'm running a Facebook, what will generally happen? If I'm having a bug on Facebook, that will not create disaster for the company. Because if right now also there are so many bugs on Facebook, right? But once we are dealing with the hardware, we have to very, very sure that everything is working on time. So firmware, like if you're writing a firmware, you have to make sure everything is working very, very fine. Why I'm saying this? See the previous examples like Samsung S series blast or Note series blast, right? I think that time Samsung stock price went so down and Samsung loss increased very high, because whatever Note series they have sold it, They have to collect it back and they have to give the refund to all those customers for a small mistake. And this mistake was in the battery management system because the battery management system was not working fine. That's why the blast was happening. Same with Boeing case. In Boeing engine, if there is a very small error, you see the Boeing price, the share price will go to the half. Same example, let's take an example of Tesla car. So if you are driving a Tesla car, autonomous vehicle, and maybe if you have applied the brake as well, and brake will take 10 millisecond more than the exact time. What will happen? Disaster may happen because if anyone is in front of your car, maybe 1 second delay is also create disaster. And if this kind of incident will happen, those companies' stock price should go half. So what I'm trying to convey here is the dashboard thing, even if they have a bug, that is also a little critical. Firmware should never have any bug. If they have the bug and device got damaged, the whole farm would get damaged out of it. So for that, they always try to run these kind of things. Even you will be having the reports and all those things here. You will able to see the hash rate, power consumption, miners status. Also, you will able to see how much are online, how much having error, how much having offline sleep and maintenance, and they have inventory. So if you have worked on the GUI interface, it would be pretty easy. You will able to develop it. Only you need some APIs, and APIs are there. If you will go to the documentation and the GitHub repository, they already open source the repository. So if you want to communicate with Avalon, what are the APIs you have to use, you will able to see it. The APIs are exposed here. Similar way, you will able to use these pool managers as you will able to make it for your own. Even you can try to give as a service, you can make it for some other mining pools. Because let's take an example. Right now, Mara is using Brains one, but so many small public mining companies may not be using those, or if they are using those, they are paying huge, hefty amount of subscription fee for that. So you can make it, you can sell it to them. This is also a good thing. We can do that. Now, one interesting question some person has asked me, like if I don't have a hardware, can I do the mining? Yes, there is an alternative way. You can do the mining even if you don't have hardware. I won't recommend it because if you're doing it for long term, you have to purchase a hardware and do that. But if you don't have it, that here we will see another product which is hash power. Okay, so all the companies or big mining companies sell the hash power. What does it mean? You don't need to purchase a hardware. You can purchase hash and use it for your solo mining. I won't recommend these things, but what people do, I will tell you. Let us suppose they are using hardware miners, and sometimes the difficulty is such a way, like if they will get more hash rate for a shorter time. I can give you an example. Like right now, in this case, we have seen it. The hash rate gone or difficulty gone down up to 14%, right? That is also huge. Now, you are thinking you are in such a way, like if you get more hash rate for some time, maybe you will able to mine a block, or maybe the probability will increase by double. What you can do is, can you purchase the miner in 1 hour? Not possible. Can we find any other in nearby? Very likely not possible. What you can do is immediately look for some hash power, purchase and redirect to your solo pool. So the total hash rate will get increased, and then maybe by putting a small amount, sometimes your chances of winning would get double. If you will ask me, do I do that? No, I don't do that. Sometimes I might have done it. That's why I earlier I have some amount over there, but I have seen people do that. So someone was asking me that, so I'm telling that yes, it is possible. You can purchase a hash rate, redirect it, do that. But if you are thinking it will be profitable, no, no profit. You can increase your chances if this type of scenario is happening. So for a short term, if you need more hash rate for some kind of thing, that case you can use that. If you will ask me what are the recommendation, I don't recommend anyone. You have to do your own research because recently I'm not using any of them at the moment. So, but yes, these are the things which generally people do. And I know few people what they do. Let us suppose um, they do trading. So let us suppose Brain Hash Power is selling in a cheaper price, and another company gives you pay per share, right? FPPS and all those things we have discussed. So what they do, they are like traders. Okay, so if you are getting it from, let us suppose Brain Sash Power is giving some discount or something like this in your account, and you are getting it uh, this much and this price, they redirect it to the another uh, sharing mining pool in which they will get more profit, and the margin which they are getting, they will utilize those margins. So many people does that, but if you'll ask me, do I do that? I don't do that personally because I even don't, because that is mostly on the shorter term, not for the longer term. So yes, these are the ways which you can use that and increase your hash rate for a certain time being. Okay. So anyone has any question to here, like regarding dashboard thing, how we manage these things? Architecture, why I haven't covered because that would be little too technical. But in a generic sense, if you want to understand how things would work, I can take an example. Like think like there are miners in, let us suppose these are the miners in Mumbai. Anyone has any doubt?
Yes, Shivam. Even before going ahead, I have few questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So you have mentioned the term called Avalon. So can you explain
Yes.
about that? What?
Okay. So there are so once we are talking about miners, so there are many companies which sells miner. Okay. But the top three companies are Canon, MicroBT. Now you might be thinking, okay, what is Canon? So Canon is okay. So think like Samsung and Galaxy, right? So Samsung is a company. Galaxy is a model of the phones, which generally comes very popular model. So similar way, Canon is a company and Avalon is a series. So if you will search Canon Avalon, you will see these are the Bitcoin miners and you will see the Avalon series. So all Avalon miners, A16, A15, A14, these are all the hardware miners. Similar like if I mention MicroBT, so MicroBT is a company name and Watts miner is the series. If you search as MicroBT or Watts miner, you will able to find it out here. And if you will go to the series, you will able to see, okay, what are the miners, hydrocooling and all those miners. You will able to find it out. Okay, so this is your answer for Avalon.
Yeah, got it, Shivam. And one
Okay.
more thing is that, like, the very initially you have mentioned uh, that if you want to run any sort of monitoring software, be it the mining OS or the Brains, you should
Mm-hmm.
have your 24/7 machine running up. And just want to understand there, like let's assume that you have set up one Raspberry Pi,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have installed the mining OS in that. So
Mm-hmm.
now you'll use this Raspberry Pi to connect that particular machine to your mining rig, isn't it?
Yes. So for that, maybe we can see this architecture. Maybe we will get a little bit better understanding. Just give me a second. Uh,
Got it.
okay. Yeah. So okay, just one second. Yeah. So these are your mining rigs. Once I'm saying mining rigs, so mining rigs means the combination of miners. Once I'm saying combination of miners means it could be some of Canon, some of Watts miner, all those miners which you are seeing it here. Okay. So these are physical miners. When you want to, so let us suppose we have few physical miners in Mumbai, we have few in Bangalore, few in Delhi, and few in Madras. What will happen if I have few? What I can do, I can access those if I am into the same Wi-Fi. So let's suppose I am itself in my Mumbai farm location, I would be able to access C, but how I can able to access it? Just like you are able to access the routers, right? So generally people put all those things, right? So 192, 168 and all those things, right? But what you need to do is you have to individually check whether everything is working or not. If you want to check it for Avalon series, maybe you have to use another platform, for others another. But if you're outside of that place, you will not able to connect because you are not in the same Wi-Fi. So you need a one device which, so miner will always be running 24/7, so there is no doubt about it. You need another worker which will also running 24/7 and will keep giving you information about the miners or status about the miner. This mini miners or mini workers or miner workers are those small computer. It could be Raspberry Pi, BeagleBone Black, or any other. You can run mining OS or brain manager. So let's talk about if you are running a mining OS, the same way you have to run it for Bangalore location, the same you have to run it for uh, Delhi location or other location because it might happen like you have a miners and all those things. But if let's talk about a big setup, so if you have a bigger setup, in that what will happen? Then bigger setup is looking like a factory. It will be having miners, it will be having containers, so you don't need to just make sure that miner is working fine. You also need to make sure the whole environment is working fine, like all those power meters which is giving powers to the miners, those are also working fine. All our physical sensors which is uh, connected somewhere in the pole or somewhere, that is also working fine. So all those things you can connect it locally, and those data you can send it. So generally in a typical fiat world, what will happen? All the data always go to the cloud, and through cloud you will able to access everything, and you will able to, so if you want to do anything, you can fetch the current status from the cloud, change the current status from the cloud. Cloud will get synced with the worker, and it will do that, right? So it is a centralized process. What is different in this mining OS? There will be no centralized authority. That's why you are seeing this orchestration layer, which is nothing but the main component of the mining OS, which is this GitHub repo, mining OS worker org, and it will be running P2P. hyperswarm, which is nothing but the same, all those Keat and all those things are using the same thing. And then they will communicate P2P, peer to peer, and it will direct communicate with your mail fronted device or the dashboard. So this way the whole communication would work. I think you might get a basic idea, but please ask if you have any question or doubts here. Or any other doubts if someone has, they can also ask.
Yes, sure. So I have this little question, like as you have mentioned, it is it operates via the P2P. If it operates via P2P, then the machine that's running, I mean, the Raspberry Pi, it should also follow the Bitcoin, the the very base protocol. I mean,
Yes, but this P2P is little bit different from which Bitcoin uses. Okay. So here P2P is little different. Like if you are thinking this P2P is same as Bitcoin nodes do the communication. So though both are P2P, but implementation is different. So what these guys are using, so if you have heard about Key.io, and if you will go there, they are also using a P2P communication, okay? But they have a different stack. So Tether earlier that has been created by any other company, and then Tether has, I think, invested on it or purchased it. Whole Punch is the company name, okay? Now it comes under Tether, and they have implemented the building blocks how the P2P would work for these tools. So this is little bit different from P2P, which we use on Bitcoin. Means the basic is the same. Only the thing is this architecture is different because there we are not using this OAuth to RBAC and these APIs, right? So similar kind of thing, but they have implemented it a little different way, so we can use it for all other systems as well. Hope I was able to answer it. Otherwise, if you have more doubts, please feel free to ask.